The idea for the campaign was to create a world which represents the internet, broadband land, an idyllic place where everything is just perfect, until that is problems started happening. Each new problem in broadband land would be represented by a funny little character called a niggle or a nark. The first thing Mill directors Macbeth and Simon needed to do was gather some references. The guys initially went in the direction of art toys for the first rounds of design. However, what actually worked better was when they designed the characters to be more creature-like. One of the things the team worked on when designing the characters was putting lots of little details into their expressions. The No-Supportosaurus, who represents the bad call centre operator. He never answers the phone, he just sits on his fat ass in the chair eating donuts and crisps, and when he answers he's so lazy you can't even understand what he says. Crafty-Cost-Nark represents the hidden costs that customers can sometimes incur. He makes you pay bills you never expect. He gives you 2 bills for your phone and your broadband instead of 1. He's two-headed, he's snaky and slippery, and he's very bling. A very dislikable creature indeed. Mystery Speed Mook is the problem that you can sometimes have with the speed of your connection. He looks a bit like a horse with human legs and has a hood with eyes that light up in the dark. He's never predictable. He's sometimes very fast and sometimes very slow. We ended up with a lot of different ideas and interpretations after a number of different approaches before we agreed on a final look for the characters with the clients. We also designed the world in which these characters live. The environment we started off with was a curved and colourful landscape, a bit of a mix between 3D feature films and a 2D lo-fi style. However, the final choice was to build more of a realistic-looking environment to make sure the characters really stood out. Once we agreed on designs, we started on the production. The Mill organised a team of very talented 3D artists to work on this project. As you can expect, the main challenge was to be faithful to the 2D designs for the characters and the environment, so a significant period of the production at the outset was spent adjusting 3D models to make sure that the characters were as they should be. At the same time, we began to build the assets and props for the environment to dress the space for each shot. The look of the animation was also very important. Based on the storyboard we had agreed with the agency, we created an animatic. It took a while to make sure that everybody was happy with the flow of the shots, and once we finalised all the animation, we came to the most difficult stage of all. The rendering and lighting of the characters and the environment to make sure everything looked as good as it possibly could be. Once everyone was happy, we were all set for final compositing. The final compositing was carried out after we had made sure that all of the 3D renders looked as good as they possibly could. And this is where everything really came together to define the overall look of the final film.
Once upon a time, when broadband was made, we browsed and surfed and chatted, and everybody played. But for some, the magic faded. Some things started to go wrong. Without any warning, the Niggles and Narks came along. With the No-Supportosaurus, spouting twaddle was his game. His impossible instructions would slowly melt your brain. The Crafty-Cost-Nark took pleasure in his work, delivering line rental bills that drove us all berserk. And with the Mystery Speed Mook, you'd never really know. You thought that you'd get mega fast, but got stuck with dead slow. But this is where we draw the line and try to right what's wrong. Wouldn't broadband be a better place with the Narks and Niggles gone? Home broadband, now with home foam from O2. We're nobbling broadband Niggles.